There is a question every Sigma INFJ carries without quite saying out loud. Why can I never finish my own sentence in company? Why does my own thought break off the moment someone else enters the room? You know the experience. The world has never explained it to you. You are mid-sentence, mid-thought, and someone shifts in their chair, or you sense a flicker of unease in the room, or someone near you needs something they have not asked for, and your own thought breaks off, not because you choose to stop, because you cannot continue. The attention has already gone where it was needed. It happens with strangers in airports. It happens in meetings where no one has called on you. It happens in your own kitchen with your own family. It happens even when you are alone, rehearsing a conversation you might have tomorrow. You begin a sentence in your own head, and partway through you adjust it for the imagined listener. You will never deliver that rehearsed sentence, but your mind has already interrupted itself for the listener who is not there. The world has names for what you do: people-pleasing, codependency, lack of boundaries, low self-esteem, trauma response. Each of these names captures something. None of them names what it actually is. You have probably tried to fix it. You have read the books on boundaries. You have sat with the affirmations. You have practiced what you would say if you held your ground. And in the moment when someone shifts in their chair, it activates anyway, faster than any technique you have learned. The interruption is automatic. It is not a failure to choose differently. It is something else entirely. If you have ever wondered why no amount of self-development touches this pattern, it is because the pattern is not what you have been told it is. Every framework you have been given assumes something is wrong with you, that you have not learned to value yourself, that you have not healed enough, that you have not drawn the line firmly enough. So the work keeps not working, and you keep blaming yourself. The Sigma INFJ who cannot finish her own thought is not failing at boundaries. She is succeeding at something else, and the world has not yet given her language for it. Let us look at what the surface explanations claim and where each one breaks. The first is people-pleasing. The claim is that you interrupt yourself because you need approval. But you do it with strangers in airports. You do it with shop assistants you will never see again. You do it alone in your kitchen, rehearsing for a person who is not even present. It activates regardless of whether approval is possible. The motive cannot be approval, because the people whose approval you do not need still trigger it. The second is low self-esteem. The claim is that you interrupt yourself because you do not believe your own thoughts deserve to be finished, but you hold deep certainty about your perceptions. You have walked into rooms and known what others were not saying. You have read situations correctly when everyone else was wrong. The interruption is not happening because you doubt your worth. It is happening despite the fact that you do not. The third is codependency. The claim is that you have a relational pattern that leads you to overmerge with others, but you do this with people you have no relationship with. The cashier you have never met, the stranger on the train. What is happening is not relational. It operates regardless of whether a relationship is present. The fourth is the trauma response, the Fawn. This is the closest of the four because it at least acknowledges that the response is automatic and precognitive. But it still frames the interruption as pathology, as damage to be healed. And here is what the Fawn explanation cannot account for. The same sight produces both the interruption and the perception. The seeing that scans the room for other states before you can finish your sentence. That is the same seeing that has made you correct over and over about what others were feeling and would do next. You cannot heal the interruption without diminishing the perception. They are not separate. Every surface explanation assumes something has gone wrong, that the interruption is a malfunction to be repaired. But what if nothing has gone wrong? What if the sight producing the interruption is operating exactly as it should? What if the only error is that no one has named what it actually is? What you are doing when you interrupt yourself is the Seer's sight, the same one that lets you walk into a room and immediately know what no one has said yet. The Sigma INFJ's perception is not occasional, it is structural. Your introverted intuition is not a tool you pick up when you need it. It is on, always, scanning the room, registering the undercurrents, tracking what each person is and is not saying. This is not something you do, it is something that happens through you as continuously as breath. And here is the thing the world has never explained to you. The sight that scans others is the same sight that scans your own speech. It does not have an off switch when the speaker is you. When you begin a sentence, the same perception that reads the room reads whether the room can receive what you're about to say. If it cannot, the sentence breaks off before it is finished. Not because you have chosen to suppress yourself, because the seeing has already done its work, and the work has produced the result that the room is not ready. The interruption is not the failure of your speech, it is the completion of your perception. The seer who could not perceive others would not be a seer. But the seer who cannot stop perceiving others also cannot fully exist as herself in the same moment as them. This is the burden of the gift. It is not a flaw to be repaired. It is the cost of the perception you have been carrying since childhood. The shadow of this is what happens when the gift is not understood. The pattern can be exploited by those who consume your attention without ever offering theirs in return. They feel like air in the room. You feel like water around their feet. And after enough years, the Sigma INFJ who has lived inside this pattern arrives at a moment of quiet crisis. She realizes she does not know what she actually thinks about her own life. The thinking is always broken off for someone else. This is the deeper wound, not the interruption itself, the accumulation of decades of interruption without recovery, the slow loss of access to your own uninterrupted mind. You have not lost the sight, you have only forgotten what it sounds like when the room is empty and the seeing rests. The seer is not damaged, she is exhausted. The recovery she needs is not therapy, it is solitude of a particular kind, the kind where no one, including herself, is asking anything of her, the kind where the perception is finally permitted to fall silent for an hour, and her own thought can run to its natural conclusion in the quiet that follows. Here is what the Sigma INFJ who recognizes herself in this video can do with the knowing. Stop trying to make yourself less perceptive in company. You will fail, and the failing will compound the shame. The perception is not the problem. The lack of recovery is the problem. Treat solitude as required, not optional. Not the kind of solitude that is filled with podcasts and tasks. The kind where no one is asking anything of you, including yourself. Your own thought can run to its natural conclusion only in that silence. Learn to recognize the few people in whose company the interruption does not activate. These are the right people. They do not require accommodation. With them, your own thought can run to completion in the same room. These relationships are rare. Protect them. We return to the question we began with. Why can you never finish your own sentence in company? Because finishing your own sentence in company would require the seer to stop seeing. The seer does not stop. The interruption is not your failure. It is your sight doing what it has always done. The work is not to fix it. The work is to know it for what it is, and to build a life that lets it rest. If this has landed where it needed to land, you may already know which of the 7 Sigma INFJ archetypes you are walking through this life as. The link in the description will take you to a free assessment that reveals yours. It takes about 3 minutes. And if you want to keep walking these threads with me into the deeper psychology of the Sigma INFJ, into the archetypes the world has forgotten how to name, subscribe. Until next time, find your power, know your myth,